Everything you see, touch, and experience around you isn't some fixed, unchangeable reality that just exists independent of you. It's actually responding to you in real time, constantly adjusting and recalibrating based on what's happening inside you. This isn't just some beautiful metaphor I'm throwing around to make you feel good, and it's definitely not spiritual fluff or another trendy law of attraction catchphrase. What I'm sharing with you right now is an actual quantum level truth that nobody bothered to teach you in school. The second you wake up and open your eyes each morning, your entire environment starts to shift and mold itself to match what's going on in your internal world, your emotions, where you're placing your attention, and the specific vibration you're carrying. But here's what happens with most people. They go through their entire lives believing they're just reacting to whatever's happening around them, like they're actors in some movie where the script was already written before they showed up. That's not how any of this works. Reality isn't static or predetermined. It's fluid, it's dynamic, and it's built on probability rather than locked in guarantees. The energy you carry into every single moment quietly but powerfully influences those probabilities, steering them in specific directions. This conversation isn't about sitting around visualizing fancy cars in your driveway or imagining piles of money falling from the sky. What we're really talking about here is understanding that your energy field functions as a real-time template, an active signal that reality is constantly picking up and reflecting back to you. Once you truly grasp how to work with that code, how to consciously influence it, you stop being someone who just gets moved around by circumstances and you actually start shaping the game board itself. That's the real deal when it comes to energy work, creating genuine quantum shifts, no fluff, no filler, just results. Most human beings spend their entire existence trying to change the outer world, trying to fix what's happening around them. They go after goals with everything they've got. They tweak situations constantly. They obsess over strategies and tactics, thinking if they just push hard enough or figure out the right combination of moves, everything will fall into place. But here's what actually happens behind the scenes. The outside world, all those circumstances and situations you're trying to control, they're just the ripple effect. They're the response, not the origin point. The real transformation, the actual shift that changes everything, it happens in the unseen realm, specifically in your energy field. That's the space where your reality gets sculpted first, not in your daily planner, not on some color-coded to-do list, not in any spreadsheet you're managing, but in the frequency you're broadcasting every single second you're breathing and alive. Everything that exists in this universe is energy moving at different frequencies. That's not some pseudoscience claim I'm making, that's straight up physics. But what nobody ever sat you down and explained clearly is that your personal energy isn't just something that gets influenced by how you're feeling or how healthy your body is. Your energy is actually a broadcast signal, a frequency transmission going out into the world constantly. You're sending signals into the quantum field non-stop, and that field is constantly responding and communicating back. The reply you get from that field, that's what you experience as your life unfolding. Every result you see, every unexpected twist that shows up, every so-called coincidence that happens, all of it is feedback from that constant exchange. When your energy is misaligned, when it's clouded by fear, weighed down by self-doubt, carrying guilt or shame, it creates distortion in the signal you're sending out. And reality mirrors that distorted signal right back at you. That's exactly why you can be making visible progress in your life and still feel completely stuck inside. Why you can be working harder than you've ever worked and somehow end up further behind than when you started. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're unlucky. It's because of misalignment. You've been transmitting static and interference instead of a clear, coherent signal. But something remarkable happens the moment your energy becomes coherent and aligned. Things start to click into place. The right people show up at exactly the right time. Doors that seemed locked suddenly swing open. The path forward that was completely invisible before suddenly becomes crystal clear right in front of you. What most people completely miss is that energy can actually be programmed. It can be directed intentionally. Your focus, your feelings, your intention, these are like lines of code you're feeding into the quantum field. Think about it like this for a second. If your frequency was a song playing in the background of your life, what kind of rhythm would reality be dancing to right now? Would it be serene and flowing, or chaotic and scattered? Would it be needy and desperate, or confident and certain? Here's the key insight that changes everything. You don't magnetize what you desire or want. You attract what you embody, what you actually are in this present moment. That's the real engine driving manifestation behind the scenes. It's not about blind optimism or pretending to be happy when you're not. It's about energetic alignment at the deepest level. This is exactly why two people can walk into the exact same room, the same environment, the same set of conditions, and have completely different experiences. Same context, same external factors, but entirely different outcomes showing up for each person. And the reason is simple: their frequencies are tuned to different stations. One person walks in steady, focused, certain of themselves, and everything flows smoothly for them. The other person enters the same space scattered, hesitant, overwhelmed by their thoughts, and nothing clicks, nothing works. Reality doesn't respond to desperation or neediness. It responds to self-mastery, not the kind where you're trying to dominate other people, but the kind where you've learned to regulate your own signal, your own internal broadcast frequency. And here's where this whole thing gets even more fascinating. Your nervous system acts like a receiver picking up signals. Your heart produces an electromagnetic field that extends several feet beyond the physical boundary of your body. Your brain wave patterns shift and change depending on where you choose to place your attention. These aren't vague spiritual claims I'm making up to sound mystical. These are proven, observable, scientific facts that you can verify. And yet, almost nobody teaches you how to actually leverage these facts in your daily life. No one sits you down and explains that your emotional state is essentially a tuning mechanism, one that can lock into different versions of reality depending on what you're tuned into. Hold a particular frequency long enough with consistency, and your environment starts to mirror it back to you. Not because of some mysterious magical force working behind the scenes, but because you've aligned yourself magnetically with a different timeline, a different probability stream. Much of what we're going to explore together, especially the fascinating interaction between consciousness and probability, is too advanced and too disruptive for most mainstream platforms to touch. If you want to go deeper into these concepts and really understand how to apply them, I want to invite you to subscribe to our free newsletter, Insights Academy, through the link you'll find below this video. You'll get immediate access to more advanced insights that we can't share publicly. Plus, you'll receive a complimentary digital copy of the Sicilian manuscript, and this is a limited time offer. This isn't about faking feelings or pretending everything's perfect when it's not. It's about energetic precision, being completely real and honest about your current state, and then consciously, intentionally shifting it. Energy doesn't fake anything, and reality doesn't bargain or negotiate. You're either in alignment or you're not. You're either transmitting a clear, coherent frequency, or you're just reacting to interference and static. And here's something that'll blow your mind when you really think about it. You've already experienced this phenomenon before. That moment when everything just fell into place effortlessly, when you stopped pushing and forcing and things simply flowed to you. When you finally let go of control and somehow everything you needed just appeared right when you needed it. That wasn't luck showing up randomly. That was resonance. That was you, even if only briefly, syncing up with the frequency where your desires already existed, already waiting for you. You're not here on this planet to grind your way into alignment through sheer effort. You're here to remember that reality is always tuned into your signal, always listening. The real question worth asking yourself is this: what message are you sending when you're not even speaking, when you're just being? We were taught from a young age that life is something we observe happening around us, something we analyze carefully, and then respond to accordingly. But quantum physics completely shattered that perspective a long time ago. It revealed a truth that's genuinely strange, one that still escapes most people walking around today. The act of observing something actually changes the thing being observed, not metaphorically or symbolically, but literally in measurable ways. A particle, when nobody's observing it, exists in what's called a probabilistic state. It's simultaneously everywhere and nowhere, existing as a cloud of potential outcomes that haven't collapsed yet. But the precise moment that attention gets applied to it, that attention being paid, that particle collapses from potential into a single outcome. It chooses a form, it becomes fixed and definite. And the observer, the person or consciousness paying attention, is the catalyst that triggers this collapse. Now, take that concept and apply it directly to your life. Every single time you look at your reality through a specific lens, whether that lens is fear, expectation, hope, or judgment, you're collapsing possibilities down. Your awareness doesn't just passively witness what's happening, it actively molds and shapes it. You're not sitting back passively watching reality unfold like a movie. You're actually shaping it through how you perceive it, and even more importantly, through the frequency you're bringing to that perception in each moment. This is the exact point where abstract theory turns deeply personal and practical, because what you anticipate, what you expect to happen, becomes a framework that reality works within. Not because of wishful thinking or positive vibes, but because of energetic mechanics at work. Walk into any situation expecting rejection, and you unconsciously set the entire stage for that exact outcome to manifest. If your emotional frequency is broadcasting the message that says, "I never get what I want," the quantum field receives that signal loud and clear. It doesn't challenge you on it. It doesn't question whether you're right or wrong. It simply aligns with what you're broadcasting and gives you experiences that match. It's not sentimental or emotional. It's purely scientific in how it operates. Your energy defines the entire spectrum of possibilities that are available to you in any given moment. Not because you're being judged by some cosmic force or tested by the universe, but because the quantum field is responsive by nature. It mirrors your state back to you perfectly. And here's what most people completely overlook when they're trying to change their lives. Your conscious mind might desperately crave transformation. It might want change so badly, but it's your subconscious wiring that's often actually shaping your perception of reality. If deep down at the subconscious level, you're holding beliefs that you're not good enough, that you're not prepared, that you're not deserving of good things, then that's the vibration you're emitting constantly, even when you're not aware of it. Even if you're standing in front of a mirror, reciting positive affirmations every morning, your energy is telling the real story underneath. That's the observer effect playing out in your own life in real time. Your frequency observes the quantum field through a filter that you're wearing, and that filter determines which version of reality you actually step into and experience. The universe doesn't cater to what you consciously ask for with your words. It echoes what you deeply expect at the subconscious level, and expectations always come from identity, from who you believe you are at the core. You might be declaring out loud, "I want freedom in my life." But are you internally bracing for difficulty? Are you seeing the world around you through the trauma lens of your past experiences? Because until that past gets resolved and cleared, it colors every new situation you enter. That lens distorts your perception of reality before you even take action within it. Here's where your real power begins to show up. You can shift the filter you're looking through. You can adjust the lens. You can change the observer inside you. And when you do that, when you genuinely shift how you're observing and what you're expecting, the collapse happens differently. The possibilities that show up start to change. This isn't about manipulating outcomes through control. It's about becoming aware of the filter you've been using unconsciously and making a conscious choice to see through a different one. That shift in observation creates a shift in experience every single time. Most people never realize they have this power because they're so busy reacting to what's already in front of them. They're playing defense their entire lives, instead of realizing they're actually the ones calling the plays from the beginning. In the comments section below, I want you to drop one word, just a single word that captures the energy you're choosing to carry forward from this point on. Maybe it's alignment, maybe it's ease, maybe it's power, maybe it's something uniquely yours that nobody else would choose. Let that word be a small but profound declaration, a signal you're sending, like planting a quantum seed, not just in this comment section, but directly into the quantum field itself. Now, let's talk about entanglement, which is one of the most mind-bending concepts in all of quantum physics. Entanglement is the phenomenon where two particles become connected in such a way that the state of one instantly affects the state of the other, no matter how far apart they are in physical space. Distance becomes irrelevant. Time delays don't exist in this connection. Einstein himself called this spooky action at a distance because it seemed to violate everything we thought we knew about how reality works. But it's been proven repeatedly in laboratories around the world. It's not theoretical anymore, it's demonstrable fact. What does this mean for you and your life? It means that everything in the universe is fundamentally connected at the quantum level. Separation is an illusion created by our limited perception. When you shift your energy, you're not just changing something isolated inside you. You're sending ripples through the entire connected field. You're affecting possibilities and probabilities far beyond what you can see with your physical eyes. This is why distant healing works. This is why you can think about someone and they suddenly call you. This is why intention, when it's clear and coherent, can influence outcomes that seem to be completely separate from you physically. You're not isolated, you're entangled with everything. And that means your energy has reach and impact far beyond what you've been taught to believe is possible. The people you encounter, the situations that show up, the opportunities that appear, they're not random. They're not happening by accident or chance. They're emerging from the field in response to the frequency you're holding. When you hold a frequency of lack and scarcity, you'll notice opportunities for abundance passing you by. When you hold a frequency of abundance and sufficiency, you'll notice abundance showing up in unexpected ways. Same field, same quantum possibilities available, but completely different experiences depending on your frequency. This is why gratitude is so powerful, not as some spiritual bypass to avoid dealing with real problems, but as an actual frequency shifter. When you genuinely feel grateful, you're broadcasting a frequency that says, I already have enough, I'm already whole, and the field responds to that broadcast by showing you more things to feel grateful about. It's not magic, it's mechanics. It's how the system works at the foundational level. But before we move forward, I want to invite you into something real here. If you've been feeling like something's finally making sense, and if a part of you is realizing your own power for the first time or remembering it, tap that like button if you just had an aha moment, because like attracts like, and by liking this video, you're telling the algorithm to show this to more people who are ready for this message. Subscribe and stay with this space, grow with us. We're building something special here. A community of people who understand that reality is malleable and that consciousness is the key to unlocking it. Your focus is one of the most powerful tools you have for collapsing quantum probabilities into specific outcomes. Where you place your attention consistently is where energy flows, and where energy flows, reality grows and expands. This isn't motivational speaker talk, this is describing an actual mechanism. Your attention is like a flashlight in a dark room full of infinite possibilities. Wherever you point that flashlight, that's what gets illuminated, that's what becomes real and tangible for you. Everything else remains in the dark, in the realm of potential, but not actualized. Most people scatter their attention in 1,000 different directions throughout the day. They wake up and immediately grab their phone, flooding their consciousness with other people's realities, other people's problems, other people's agendas. They spend their commute worrying about things that might never happen. They spend their workday thinking about being somewhere else. They spend their evening numbing out to distractions. And then they wonder why their life feels scattered and unfocused, why nothing seems to be working out the way they want. It's because their attention, their most valuable resource, is being scattered and diluted across too many things that don't actually matter. Imagine if you took all that scattered attention and focused it like a laser beam on one clear intention, one clear vision of who you're becoming. The results would be dramatically different because you'd be working with the natural mechanics of reality instead of against them. When you focus with genuine intention, not forced concentration but relaxed focus, you begin to collapse probabilities toward the outcomes you're intending. You start to notice things you wouldn't have noticed before. You start to take actions you wouldn't have thought to take. You start to meet people you wouldn't have met. Not because you're trying harder, but because your focused attention is acting like a magnet, pulling relevant elements from the field of potential into your actual experience. This is why successful people always talk about the importance of focus. It's not just about productivity or getting more done. It's about quantum mechanics. Focused attention collapses possibilities into actualities faster and more efficiently than scattered attention ever could. And the beautiful thing is, you don't need to force it. You just need to become aware of where your attention naturally goes throughout the day, and then gently, consistently redirect it toward what actually matters to you, toward the reality you're choosing to create. Your emotions are not just feelings happening inside you that have no external impact. Your emotions are frequencies, and they're being broadcast out into the field constantly. Joy vibrates at a different frequency than fear. Love vibrates differently than anger. Peace vibrates differently than anxiety. And each of these emotional frequencies attracts and collapses different quantum possibilities. This is why you can't manifest from a place of desperation, no matter how many affirmations you repeat. Desperation is a frequency that says, I don't have, I'm lacking, I'm incomplete. And the field says, okay, here are more experiences that match that frequency of not having, lacking, and being incomplete. It's not punishing you, it's not judging you. It's just matching your frequency perfectly, like a mirror reflects whatever's in front of it. When you feel genuinely abundant, even if your bank account doesn't reflect it yet, you're broadcasting a frequency that says, I have enough, I am enough. And the field starts showing you opportunities, ideas, and circumstances that match that frequency of having and being enough. This doesn't mean you suppress your real feelings or pretend to feel something you don't. It means you become aware of what you're feeling, you acknowledge it without judgment, and then you consciously choose to shift it when you're ready. In the comments, I want you to drop one thing that you deeply desire right now. Maybe it's money, maybe it's a happy relationship, maybe it's a healthy and fit body, maybe it's something uniquely yours that I couldn't even guess. Let this be a small but profound declaration, a signal you're sending to the universe, not just in this comment section, but directly into the quantum field. Speak it into existence. Make it real by putting it into words. Because the act of declaring creates a quantum impression, it starts the ball rolling. There's something called coherence, which is when your thoughts, feelings, and actions are all aligned in the same direction, all broadcasting the same frequency. This is when manifestation happens fast, almost effortlessly. When your mind says, I want this, your heart feels excited about it, and your actions move toward it. You've created coherence. You're a unified field broadcasting a clear signal. But when your mind wants one thing, your heart is afraid of it, and your actions are moving in the opposite direction, you've created incoherence. You're broadcasting static and interference. The field doesn't know which signal to respond to because you're sending multiple conflicting signals at once. This is why clarity is so important. Not just mental clarity about what you want, but emotional and behavioral clarity too. Getting all parts of yourself on the same page, moving in the same direction, that's when magic happens. That's when reality starts bending toward you instead of you having to chase it down. Most people approach manifestation like they're placing an order at a cosmic restaurant. They visualize what they want, they affirm it, they maybe write it down, and then they sit back and wait for it to be delivered to them. But that's not how this works. You're not ordering from a menu. You're tuning into a frequency where what you want already exists. It's already there, already real, already happening in a parallel probability. Your job isn't to create it from scratch. Your job is to match the frequency of the version of you who already has it, who already is it. When you match that frequency authentically, not just mentally but emotionally and energetically, you begin to magnetize circumstances, people, and opportunities that align with that frequency. You start to become a vibrational match for the reality you're claiming. And the field responds not to your words or your visualizations, but to your frequency. It always responds to frequency first. Words without matching frequency are just noise. Visualizations without matching frequency are just daydreams. But frequency with clear intention is unstoppable. It's the combination that collapses quantum possibilities into physical realities faster than anything else. Think about a time when you wanted something desperately but couldn't get it no matter how hard you tried. Now think about a time when you let go of wanting something, stopped chasing it, and it suddenly showed up. The difference wasn't in the circumstances or the timing. The difference was in your frequency. When you were desperate, you were in lack frequency. When you let go, you shifted into sufficiency frequency, even if you didn't realize it. And sufficiency frequency is magnetic. It draws things toward you naturally because it's not pushing anything away with the energy of need. This is the paradox that confuses so many people. The less you need something, the faster it comes. The more you need something, the more it eludes you. It seems backwards until you understand frequency mechanics. Need repels, sufficiency attracts. It's that simple and that profound. So, the practice becomes learning to desire without needing, to want without lacking, to move toward what you want from a place of excitement and possibility rather than from desperation and fear. That shift in approach changes everything because it shifts your frequency completely. Let me tell you something that nobody talks about. You have a quantum signature. It's like a fingerprint, but it's energetic. It's the unique pattern of frequencies you emit based on your beliefs, your past experiences, your emotional habits, your thought patterns, your level of consciousness. This signature is what the field reads and responds to. It's what creates the consistent patterns you see in your life. If your quantum signature carries the pattern of things always work out for me, then things tend to work out for you in ways that seem lucky to other people. If your signature carries the pattern of I always struggle, then you'll keep encountering situations where you have to struggle. Your signature can be changed. It's not fixed or permanent. But it requires more than just changing your thoughts. It requires changing the deeper patterns and beliefs that are generating those thoughts. It requires healing the past experiences that created certain emotional habits. It requires becoming aware of unconscious patterns and making them conscious so you can choose different ones. This is deep work. This isn't surface level positive thinking. This is quantum reprogramming at the identity level. Your environment is constantly giving you feedback about your quantum signature. The people who show up in your life are mirrors reflecting aspects of your frequency back to you. The situations you encounter repeatedly are showing you patterns that are active in your field. Nothing is random. Everything is information. Everything is feedback. When you start seeing your life through this lens, everything changes. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start being a scientist, studying your own quantum signature and learning how to adjust it. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to identify what frequency you're broadcasting that's creating this type of challenge. Every success becomes confirmation that you've shifted your frequency in an effective direction. You become the observer of your own field, and through that observation, you gain the power to consciously adjust it. Make sure you share this video with your friends and family who might need to hear this message today. For you, it might just be sharing. But for someone else, it could be the ray of hope they needed, the missing piece they've been searching for. By sharing, you're spreading consciousness and positive energy, and that positive energy will come back to you multiplied. What you give out always returns. That's not just spiritual philosophy, that's quantum mechanics in action. There's a concept in quantum physics called superposition, which means a particle can exist in multiple states simultaneously until it's observed. Your life exists in superposition too. Right now, there are multiple versions of your future existing as possibilities, as probabilities. The version where you succeed beyond your wildest dreams exists. The version where you stay exactly where you are exists. The version where things get worse exists. They all exist simultaneously as potentials. Your consciousness, through the act of consistent observation, meaning where you place your attention and what frequency you hold, collapses one of these potential futures into your actual lived experience. This is why it's so crucial to be intentional about where you place your attention and what frequency you're holding. You're literally selecting your future from a field of infinite possibilities every moment of every day through these two factors. Most people do this unconsciously, which is why their future tends to look a lot like their past. They're unconsciously collapsing the same patterns over and over because they're observing from the same frequency they've always held. But when you become conscious of this process, when you realize you're the one doing the collapsing through your attention and frequency, you can start deliberately choosing which potential future you're collapsing into reality. Here's what most manifestation teachings get wrong. They focus on the goal, the thing you want to achieve or acquire. But the quantum field doesn't respond to goals. It responds to identity. It responds to who you are being, not what you are wanting. This is why affirmations often don't work. You can repeat, I am wealthy 1,000 times, but if your identity, your sense of self at the deepest level, says, I am someone who struggles with money, the field responds to the deeper identity, not the surface affirmation. The real work is shifting identity, becoming the person who naturally has what you want, not pretending to be that person, but actually shifting your sense of self so deeply that you become that person at the quantum level. This happens through consistent practice, through repeatedly choosing thoughts, feelings, and actions that align with this new identity until it becomes your default, your natural state. It's not a quick fix, it's a transformation, but it's the only thing that creates permanent change because you're changing the source code, not just editing the surface program. When you shift your identity, everything downstream shifts automatically. Your thoughts change because different thoughts are natural for this new identity. Your feelings change because this identity feels differently about life. Your actions change because this identity behaves differently. And most importantly, your frequency changes, which means the quantum field responds to you differently. This is why working on identity is the most powerful thing you can do. Everything else is downstream from who you believe you are at the deepest level. And who you believe you are is something you have the power to choose and change. You're not stuck with the identity that was formed by your childhood experiences or your past failures. You can consciously choose a new identity and step into it, grow into it, become it. This is the real meaning of transformation. Not changing what you do, but changing who you are, which naturally changes what you do and what shows up for you. If this hits different for you, if something clicked, drop a like on this video and hit that subscribe button along with the bell icon next to it. Join this movement, become part of a global space where we explore the art of conscious creation, quantum alignment, and embodied manifestation together. This isn't just a channel, this is a frequency. If you felt a nudge or a shift while watching, you're already tuned in. We're not just consuming content here, we're practicing new ways of being. We're not just absorbing information, we're creating possibilities. We're not just learning, we're remembering what we've always known but forgot. Now, let's talk about resistance, because this is where most people get stuck without realizing it. Resistance is any energy within you that's moving against what you say you want. It's the part of you that wants success but fears failure, the part that wants love but fears getting hurt, the part that wants change but fears the unknown. Resistance shows up as self-sabotage, procrastination, doubt, fear, and overthinking. And here's the crucial point about resistance. You can't manifest past your level of resistance. If you have a desire at level 10, but resistance at level 8, you'll only manifest up to level 2. The resistance acts like a brake on your manifestation, limiting what can actually show up for you. Most people try to overcome resistance through willpower, pushing through it, forcing themselves past it. But resistance doesn't respond to force. It responds to awareness and integration. When you become aware of your resistance, when you look at it directly and understand where it comes from, it starts to dissolve naturally. Every resistance has a positive intention behind it. It's usually trying to protect you from something, even if that protection is outdated and no longer serves you. When you understand the positive intention, when you appreciate what that part of you has been trying to do, and then gently show it new ways to meet that need, the resistance releases. This is inner work. This is the work that nobody wants to do because it requires looking at uncomfortable things. But it's also the work that creates the most dramatic shifts because you're clearing the energetic blocks that have been limiting you. Think about what you truly want to manifest in your life and ask yourself honestly, what's my resistance to having this? What am I afraid might happen if I actually get it? What might I have to give up or change? Who might I disappoint? These questions reveal the hidden resistance that's been operating under the surface, sabotaging your efforts without you even realizing it. Once you see the resistance clearly, you can work with it consciously instead of having it work against you unconsciously. This is how you remove the brakes and allow your natural manifestation ability to flow freely without being blocked by internal conflict. In the comments below, share one small act you're committing to today, something that anchors you into your new life path. It could be as simple as breathe, or trust, or open. Your word matters, your act matters, because you matter. By commenting, you're making a public declaration, a commitment not just to me, but to yourself and to the quantum field. You're creating accountability and intention simultaneously. So drop that comment, make that commitment, anchor yourself in this new frequency. You've been conditioned your entire life to seek outward for guidance, validation, permission, and power. That system was built intentionally to keep you looking externally, to keep you dependent on outside authorities and sources. If you're constantly chasing the next method, the next guru, the next solution, you never stop long enough to realize that the true source of change was always inside of you. It was always you. And here's the truth that nobody profits from telling you. You are the source, not the ritual, not the process, not the technique, not the teacher, you. The quantum field doesn't care about crystals, affirmations, vision boards, or any tools. Those things can be helpful as focusing devices, but they're not the source of power. The source is you. The field responds to coherence. It responds to the frequency of the you who remembers their power, who knows their worth, who trusts their path. When you stop outsourcing your authority to external things and begin realizing that your energy is the cause of everything showing up in your life, everything begins to realign itself naturally. You stop waiting for signs from the universe. You become the sign. You stop trying to pull things toward you through effort. You start matching the timeline where those things already exist, where they're already yours. That's when the illusion crumbles completely. The illusion that says you're small, powerless, just waiting to be picked or chosen by someone else. You were never here to be chosen. You came here to choose. You came here to be the one making the choices about your life and your reality. And when you fully embody that truth, when you really get it in your bones, something profound happens. Not just in your energy field, but in your body language, your presence, your direction in life. You stop asking, what should I do? And start asking, who am I becoming? That shift in question changes everything, because it shifts your focus from external actions to internal transformation. You stop chasing from a place of lack and neediness, and you start acting from inner certainty and sufficiency. You stop reacting to external noise and validation, and you begin aligning with your internal compass, your own knowing, and people feel the shift when you make this change. They can't always articulate what's different about you, but they sense it. Reality feels the shift too. The quantum field recalibrates itself in response to your new frequency. This isn't about arrogance or false confidence that you're faking. It's about frequency that's authentic and real. When you claim your energy as your own, when you own your power, you move with quiet strength. Not because you're pretending or putting on an act, but because you've remembered the truth that was always there. You were never not powerful, you just forgot for a while. And in that remembrance, in that recognition, your energy stops leaking into self-doubt, comparison, or hesitation. You stop needing approval from others because your presence becomes your own proof. You become self-validated, self-sourced, self-led. Every time you dismiss your intuition just to conform to what others expect, every time you shrink yourself to avoid discomfort or confrontation, every time you abandon your truth for the familiar and comfortable, you lower your vibration. You create misalignment between who you really are and who you're pretending to be. And over time, that distortion starts to feel normal. You forget what alignment even feels like. But the power never disappeared. It never went anywhere. It simply went dormant, buried beneath layers of fear, social programming, and distraction. And now it's resurfacing. You're remembering. You don't need someone else's roadmap anymore. You need to return to your own. You don't need a checklist or a step-by-step formula. You need to step into the version of you that trusts the path will unfold naturally the moment you align with it. That's how the quantum field operates. It won't show you the entire path laid out in front of you. That's not how it works, but it will reveal the very next step once your energy resonates with the version of you that's ready for that step. This is why practices, teachings, and systems can only guide you part of the way. They're tools, not the source. You are the source. Your breath is the entry point into presence. Your state is the signal you're broadcasting. Your focus is the lever you use to collapse possibilities. You're not here to follow concepts and theories forever. You're here to embody truth, to live it. And the truth is beautifully simple when you strip away all the complexity. Your life isn't waiting for something magical to happen to you. It's waiting for you to remember who you are and step into that power. Which part of this message spoke directly to your story? Comment below, because I read every single one, and I want to know what resonated with you, what clicked, what made sense in a way that nothing else has before. You weren't designed to sit on the sidelines watching change happen to other people. You were born to be the initiator of change, not through domination or force, but through alignment with who you really are. That's true mastery, not flawlessness or perfection, but presence. The ability to remain connected to your essence, no matter what chaos is swirling around you. To respond from your grounded truth rather than from unresolved pain or old wounds. To lead your frequency, to anchor your energy before external reality gives you permission or confirmation. When you do that consistently, when you make that your practice, everything shifts. The whole game changes. You stop obeying old rules that were programmed into you because you finally remember something crucial. The quantum field doesn't care about their rules. It only responds to your signal. And when your frequency says clearly and consistently, I remember who I am, the world around you begins to mirror that remembrance back to you. You'll see it in the opportunities that appear, in the people who show up, in the synchronicities that happen, in the doors that open. Everything starts to align because you've aligned first internally. There comes a moment in every transformation journey when theory falls away completely, when you're done collecting wisdom and spiritual concepts and you're finally ready to embody it, to live it. That's the edge where real transformation lives and breathes. You've seen the signs by now. You've felt the shift happening inside you. You know on some level that reality is malleable, not static or fixed. It's not carved in stone. Every moment, with every breath you take, you are either reinforcing the frequency of your past, staying stuck in old patterns, or initiating a new one, stepping into a new timeline. Now the power is in your hands, not mentally as a concept, but energetically as a living reality. This is where most people falter and fall back. They stall out, waiting for proof before they fully commit, waiting for external validation before they step forward. But that validation will never come from outside. It can't. Because the only person who can confirm your alignment is you. Nobody else can do that for you. You were raised in a system designed to make you believe that results come from action alone. Do more, work harder, push through, hustle, grind. But what you're beginning to see now, what's becoming clear, is something far more foundational than action. It's your state of being that shapes your reality at the deepest level. When your internal state shifts authentically, the external world responds in kind, like a perfect mirror. Not because you've mastered all the rules or figured out all the right strategies, but because you've evolved into a new version of yourself. You no longer need to try to force creation to happen. Instead, you live as if the version of reality you desire is already attuned to your frequency, because it is. It already exists as a probability waiting to collapse into your experience. Every move you make, every thought you consciously choose to hold, every emotion you allow yourself to express fully, is either reinforcing the frequency of your past or anchoring you into a new path, a new timeline. This isn't about pressure or getting it perfect. It's about precision and intentionality. You're not here to be flawless. You're here to live in alignment with your truth. And alignment doesn't mean pretending to be positive 24/7 like some spiritual robot. It means being real, being regulated, being self-led. It means being aware of your energy at all times and intentionally choosing how to direct it rather than letting it be scattered and pulled in different directions by external noise and other people's agendas. So, ask yourself honestly, are you willing to lead from this space every single day? Not just when it's easy or convenient, not only when you're in stillness or meditation feeling peaceful, but also in traffic when someone cuts you off, in arguments when someone pushes your buttons, in decision-making moments when the stakes feel high, when you're faced with bills piling up and money feels tight, when your future feels murky and uncertain, can you still stay tuned into your highest frequency? Can you hold the tone of inner clarity and trust when the old habits and patterns are trying desperately to pull you back into confusion and fear? Because that's the moment transformation becomes tangible and real, not in the comfort of your meditation cushion, but in the contrast of real life. In the friction and challenges where you prove to yourself who you're becoming. Send this video to that one friend who really needs to hear this message. You know the one. Be the friend who shares breakthroughs and real value, not just memes and distractions. Sharing this might just change someone's whole week, their whole month, maybe even their life. Be that person who creates positive ripple effects. You are not here to make peace with your past and settle for less. You are here to write your future in bold strokes. Not by trying to force outcomes through manipulation or control, but by commanding your frequency with certainty. And this command isn't loud or aggressive or forcing anything. It's steady, certain, grounded in truth. It carries the kind of energetic authority that doesn't need to pursue or chase because it already knows with absolute certainty that the field is aligning in response to the signal being sent. So what does living like this actually look like in practical terms? It looks like anchoring your own energy first every single morning before anyone else gets to label it or define it for you. Before you check your phone, before you engage with the world, you anchor yourself in your own frequency. It's about carving out sacred space for coherence amid all the noise and chaos of modern life. It's choosing clarity over reactivity when someone tries to trigger you. It's choosing presence over performance when you're tempted to just go through the motions. It's choosing intention over impulse when you want to make decisions. It's walking into every space, every room, every situation, as though you already belong there, because the version of you aligned with that frequency already does belong. You're not faking it, you're being it. Drop a word in the comments that captures the energy you're stepping into today. Maybe it's trust, maybe it's flow, maybe it's joy, maybe it's ease, maybe it's power. Your word matters, your declaration matters. So comment it below and anchor that energy into your field through the act of declaring it publicly. Here's what almost no one tells you, because it doesn't fit the quick fix narrative that sells so well. Awakening isn't a destination you arrive at and then you're done. It's a frequency that you keep returning to, choosing again and again, embodying deeper and deeper each time. And each time you do, each time you choose that frequency again, reality shifts in response. Gently but unmistakably, it realigns itself to your clarity like iron filings moving toward a magnet. Not because you forced it through effort, but because you remembered who you are. This journey you're on isn't about becoming someone else, someone better, or more spiritual, or more successful. It's about shedding everything that was never truly you to begin with. The self-doubt that was programmed in, the old stories that were handed down through generations, the noise from society telling you who you should be, the programming that's been blocking your signal for so long. You're not here to build power from scratch like you're starting from zero. You're here to reclaim the power that was always yours, that you were born with. And once you begin living from that power consistently, once you anchor into it as your natural state, your world will transform in ways that can't be undone or reversed. You won't be able to go back to who you were before because you fundamentally changed at the quantum level. Like if you felt this message resonate, share it with someone who's stuck and needs to hear it and comment, "I receive," to lock this frequency into your field. Oh, and subscribe because this is just the beginning of what we are exploring together. There's so much more coming. If you watch this far, you're not here by accident. Nothing is random. You were meant to receive this message at exactly this moment in your journey. Like this video to anchor the frequency we just created together. Comment what clicked for you, what landed, what made you think differently. Share this gift with one person who needs it, someone who's ready for this shift. And subscribe because you're ready for what comes next. We're going even deeper in the next video. We're exploring the hidden architecture of reality that determines why some people manifest effortlessly while others struggle for years. It's about the invisible structure underneath manifestation that nobody talks about because it's too advanced for mainstream teaching. If you're ready to understand the real mechanism behind instant manifestation and timeline jumping, click through to that video now. This is where the real magic starts to happen. I'll see you there.